parades daily, plus horsepower demonstrations, ladies' activities, vintage style shows, kids' activities, and more. Labor Day weekend, September 1st through the 4th in Rolog, Minnesota. For more information, visit rolog.com.
Fall consignment going on right now at my best friend's closet. Ladies, take a minute, open the closet, take a look at your clothes. You know which ones you haven't worn for quite some time. Many might still have tags on them. Why not pack them up, make your appointment at my best friend's closet? They make it easy to consign. Plus, I always stay in shop because each week the inventory changes and I love fall clothing. So I'm looking for new, fun, comfortable transitional clothes that fit me and my budget. You are too? Stop by my best friend's closet on 32nd Avenue near Breadsmith or follow them on Facebook.
This month at Corwin Toyota, trade in your vehicle and receive a $2,500 trade-in assist on select new models. That's $2,500 in extra cash towards your new Toyota. And when you trade, you are eligible for financing as low as 3.99%. With over 170 new vehicles to choose from online, we have the perfect match waiting for you. If you're not looking to buy but need extra cash, that's okay. We'll pay you top dollar for your vehicle. Head to Corwin Toyota today or shop online at corwinauto.com.
Hi, Jeff from a Cutting Edge Gallery of Jewelry. It is the diamond days of summer. So what does that mean for you folks? Well, come on over to a Cutting Edge where we have our entire natural diamond inventory on sale. You will save 25% of every single stone we have. Never before have we been able to offer such a great savings. So come on over to a Cutting Edge Gallery of Jewelry, 4507 33rd Avenue South, Fargo.
Attention North Dakota veterans. Did you know there is free transportation provided to veterans for medical appointments? This service is at no cost to you and available in several highly rural counties throughout the state. Contact your county veteran service officer for further information. North Dakota Veterans Affairs, proudly serving veterans from around the state with additional resources.
This message is sponsored by the Department of Veteran Affairs and aired in cooperation by the North Dakota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Gateway Chevrolet's lot is loaded with new Chevy Silverados. Stop by and take a test drive and find out how you can save $7,250 on a new Chevy Silverado at Gateway Chevrolet. The new Silverados are more versatile, more powerful, plus the best-looking truck with more technology and safety benefits than any other truck in the market. So head over to Gateway Chevrolet and save $7,250 on a new Silverado with trade, only at Gateway Chevrolet. Find new roads. Details gatewayfargo.com.
KQWB, West Fargo, Fargo-Moorhead, and KPFX, HD3 Kindred, Bison 1660. Powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
And here's what you need to know.
The Las Vegas Raiders are signing veteran running back Damian Williams, best known for scoring 2 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes and 44 seconds of the Super Bowl 4 years ago to give the Chiefs a comeback win over the 49ers. In preseason action Thursday night, the Seahawks defeated the Vikings 24-13. Seattle quarterback Drew Lock completed 17 of 24 for 191 with 2 touchdown passes, 1 interception. Seahawks receiver Cade Johnson sustained a concussion in the first half and was taken to the hospital for evaluation. The Texans won at New England 20-9. Houston rookie number 2 overall pick C.J. Stroud completed 2 of 4 passes for 13 yards with 1 interception. NBA Milwaukee Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo announced today that he will not play for Greece in the upcoming FIBA World Cup due to his recovery from a recent left knee surgery. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
Bison Pride, everything we do. This one's for you, Corso, wherever you are. Give me that Bison.
This is the Insiders on Bison 1660, covering the world of NDSU sports like no other.
North Dakota State advances to the round of 32.
Touchdown, Bison!
The Insiders are presented by Proseed. Need seed? Think Proseed. Welcome to your green and gold HQ for the Bison. The Insiders on Bison 1660 starts now.
Oh yeah, grooving here on a feel-good Friday. It's the Insiders on Bison 1660. Sam Niederman, Andy Rickoff, Micah Bindi. Full house here in our First Western Bank and Trust Broadcast Center. Fellas, how we doing? Made it to the end of the week.
Feeling good? It's Feel Good Friday. Nothing to feel bad about anyways. And even if there was, I wouldn't be feeling bad about it because it's a Feel Good Friday. Fall camp continuing to roll on. Loved being at the Bridges yesterday. Talking with Brent, our good friends out there at the Bridges. We appreciate them very much. Talking to some football players. They're feeling good. We're feeling good.
We made it 1 week in this new lineup of the show. We'll have Kyle back in next week. He's been on vacation, so excited to get him back in the weekly rotation next week. He'll be a weekly guest on the spot, but it's been fun so far. Appreciate you listening and jamming with us. Lot to get to today. We were on the road yesterday, as Andy mentioned. We were at the Bridges, first stop on our Bison 1660 road tour. Huge lineup today. We're talking college football with the one and only Phil Steele, college football connoisseur. That's coming up in about 15 minutes. He'll be on around 11:15 Central. Get a comprehensive college football preview from the master himself, Phil Steele's College Football Magazine, the best preview magazine that's out there. I've got it right here on our CNH Industrial Cam. It is a college football Bible, and I think it's in its 29th season. So he's been doing this for a long, long time. This year,
literally as long as I've been alive. Perfect.
Your lifetime, yes. Spot on.
He started it when I was born. Coincidence, I'm sure.
What is that, 1994?
I was born in 93.
93. Oh, there it is. All right, so you got that in common with Phil.
Sure do.
We'll have to have him on. We got to ask him how he does it because it's pretty ridiculous how he's able to compile all this information for not only the FBS, but he did a great job with the FCS Digital Magazine. And we had one of his lieutenants on the other week. I'm blanking on the gentleman's
Chris Van Dyne.
Chris Van Dyne, yeah, and he did a great job with that. So we'll have Phil on. We'll talk a little college football with him at 11:15. Coach Matt Entz will join us as he does every Friday throughout fall camp for the Bison. He will come on at noon, and we will get the latest for NDSU as they just completed their second week of fall camp. So Coach Entz will join us. That'll be a good conversation. And then at 12:30, John Drum, who is the GM of US Bank Stadium, he will come on, and he will talk about the Bison's season opener at US Bank Stadium on September 2nd. First ever college football game in the history of US Bank Stadium. It's very exciting for NDSU to be part of that, and we'll get all the inside scoop from John Drum, GM of US Bank Stadium at 12:30. Also, future crop of Bison later on today. We will have that at the bottom of this first hour. It is my first time playing future crop of Bison. I'm going to try my best picking up all the leftovers. You guys have been doing it since April, and we have, for the first time in Insiders history, everybody has their picks ready to go, and hopefully nobody ends up crossing up each other. But that's going to be pretty fun getting first future crop of Bison in for yours truly.
So you looked at the list because you were trying to find someone that had been picked, and you were saying, oh, you guys picked all the good players, and there's a couple you thought you were going to have, and then you're like, oh, no, Micah or me or somebody else picked them. So you looked through the list. Who's got the best ones?
I've looked through, one of my picks you had. I wanted to go. Who was it that I wanted to go with earlier? You've got
Najee Nelson was the pick that you.
Najee Nelson, Rajah's brother, who's a freshman DB. That's what I was looking at. Andy, you've got him. Now, Andy kind of thought outside the box. He picked up Finn Diggins, who will be in the tight end rotation this year. That was your first pick.
Also, great name.
Very good name, Finn Diggins. Hopefully, we get some touchdown calls for him this year. Sam Young, which has been a controversial topic. The junior or senior, rather.
Wait, he's a senior, right?
Senior.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Just
how many starts?
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that was out there.
Yeah, I can't confirm that.
How many reps? I don't know. Not that many.
A lot of snaps.
A lot of snaps.
A lot of snaps, or special teams.
Special team snaps, tons of them.
Yes, which technically isn't a snap, but it is a down.
Yep.
He's registered a lot of downs. I do like Caden Chadwick, who I wanted to get on my team earlier today. That was Micah's pick a few weeks ago. Redshirt freshman offensive lineman who I've been impressed with throughout camp so far. That was my logic behind that, but Micah was thinking 3 steps ahead at that point.
I could trade you if you just join my team and say Andy's Sam Young pick will be abolished. I'll trade Caden Chadwick to you if you just permanently join my side and say Sam Young is a no-go.
I'll leave it in Sam's court on that one. We'll see. Let's see what he wants to do.
I might have to do that because my team's only going to be 4 Bisons. And I'm going to have to – it might be an alliance here between Micah and I for future crop of Bison as we go.
Sam Young ain't going anywhere.
I will say.
We'll trade it. You take Cole Payton off.
That's what I picked, Cole Payton.
Yep.
We can go down this road. That's exactly why I picked Cole Payton, because you picked Sam Young. So I'm like, it hasn't started, has some snaps, but still waiting for that first start for Cole Payton. But we're going to have to wait a while.
Guys, I'll say this right here, right now. As a neutral observer, right, who wasn't here for the beginning of Future Crop of Bison for this round, Cole Payton as an arbitrator for this case. Cole Payton is a clean pick. It is a good pick.
We'll give it to you then. Fine.
Sweet. If we both just keep our guys, that's fine. But if we both take them off, that's fine with me too.
They're both going to have great plays. That's why they're good picks. I think they're going to play a role this upcoming year.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I think Sam Young's eligible too.
Yeah.
It's a good pick. So we'll play a little Future Crop of Bison later on, get you some unsung heroes and some young players who we think might make an impact for NDSU later on this season.
I also think I got the steal of the draft today. So I've said that probably 4 or 5 other times, but I think I got it today.
You feel good.
Yep.
You're going a member of the Rams too, offensive line.
There's a member of the Rams, yep.
Rumor has it that Team Rickoff is going to go offensive line. Adam Schefter is going to be tweeting about it here soon. That's what we're hearing.
Someone that's got a tie to you and your background, and a more major tie to me and Micah's fandoms as well.
Okay. Little hint.
Yep.
All right, I'll have to kind of do some mental gymnastics on this throughout breaks and stuff. I'm looking at a linebacker. I'm also considering a couple of skill guys, but right now my linebacker is looking good for Future Crop of Bison. We had NFL preseason last night.
Sure did.
And Vikings played their first preseason game and ended up losing to Seattle. Andy, you unfortunately were unable to watch. There were some issues on like the NFL Network feed with the Seattle feed. They were able to switch over to the Minnesota feed, so we were blessed with the dual set tones of the one legendary Paul Allen, and got him on the preseason call there. But Vikings end up getting the reserves in. It was Nick Mullins who started out at quarterback, and then we got to see a little Jaron Hall if you stayed up late. Struggled a little bit. What was it, 6 of 14, I think. It completed something like 38 yards on the day for the rookie out of BYU. We did see Jordan Addison make a play.
Made a nice catch, the toe tapper as well. So I think 1 catch on 3 targets. I liked what I saw out of Ty Chandler, the running back, as you got Alexander Madison, but you're going to need somebody behind him. And Ty Chandler looks like second year. He's figured some things out. That'll be a nice piece for them, hopefully in the backfield. And then Dwayne McBride, the guy they drafted late out of, I believe, UAB, should be pretty good. More of a bowling ball going downhill. So the running game, you need somebody back there. I know we tend not to care about the running back position, at least financially in the NFL, but you need somebody back there that you feel confident with, able to run the football. But yeah, I wasn't able to watch it because locally, I know a lot of other people ran into this problem, and maybe somebody else can chime in if they ran into the problem as well. But they're playing, on the local Fox channel. There's like the FIFA Women's World Cup, and I'm all about the Women's World Cup, but it wasn't the USA team out there. It was Spain and Netherlands, and we're in the 96th minute, and it's still rolling through, and then it goes to overtime because, of course, they're tied at the end of the 90 minutes plus 12 minutes of added time at the end. Still tied, go to overtime, and you got to wait for another 45 minutes, and then they don't turn over to the Vikings game until late third quarter. Yay. Perfect.
Tough.
Yeah, tough one.
Very tough. I will give a shout-out to a Hoosier, Indiana University football alum, Jalen Williams, coming away with a pick
for
the Vikings last night. That was very good to see. Threw it right to him. But, you got to make the catch.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make a catch and take the opportunities when they are presented. So Vikings' first preseason game is under their belt. Ivan Pace also showed out, which you guys have been all excited about. And he continues to flash a lot of potential. He could be a UDFA that ends up getting a role, not just on the 53-man, but like real significant playing time, a big opportunity.
And the Vikings need that, especially at that position or that side of the ball, because their defense has been really, really bad. But I know they've thrown a lot of picks at cornerback. Me and Micah know that over the years. A lot of high picks at cornerback that haven't worked out. But like this year in the draft, didn't have a second-round pick. Their first-round pick was a wide receiver. They didn't really bring in anybody defensively in free agency outside of Marcus Davenport and, I guess, Byron Murphy. But they didn't spend a ton of money. They haven't spent a lot of money defensively in free agency the last couple of years. And they haven't really drafted many players super high on that side of the ball. So the defense that's as bad as it was a year ago, you need somebody to kind of give you some value, and hopefully Ivan Pace can do it.
C.J. Stroud made his debut last night for Houston and threw a pick. Everybody was going crazy about it. Are you guys putting any stock into it? What were your thoughts?
It looked bad. It was bad. It was a double pump, and he was late, and it was right to Jalen Mills. I watched it over and over. I was like, it did not look good.
He hesitated. He definitely hitched up.
But it's preseason, so I'm not going to put too much stock into it, but not a great start or confidence builder.
I put as much stock into that as I put into the very first Summer League game for Victor Wembanyama when he looked terrible and everyone was, oh my gosh, he's a bust. He scored 9 points or whatever it was, and he was like 30% from the field or less than that. And he can't shoot. He looked nervous. And then the next game he scored 20-something points, had like 12 blocks and 12 or 13 rebounds. So I think CJ will be just fine.
He was getting pressured all game, is what I heard from getting pressured by one of the Patriots' young draft picks, Keon White. I heard he had a heck of a game, but there was also like a controversy with, YouTube TV has been big on we're going to have NFL games, but when C.J. Stroud had the interception, that just happened on YouTube TV, but then if you went to NFL Plus, the Patriots were already kicking a field goal. There was a wide separation of viewership of who was seeing what at the same time.
A little delay, you're saying?
A large delay. YouTube TV way behind. They might have to fix that, else not a lot of people are going to be using it during the season.
Yeah, something happened with YouTube TV dropped. I'm thinking New York here. They dropped SNY, which is the home of the Mets. That's irrelevant. But isn't there something with YouTube TV in the NFL this year? Don't they have? Who's got the Sunday ticket? Doesn't one of the
YouTube TV has NFL? They have a deal with the NFL. I think it's either NFL Sunday Ticket or NFL Red Zone. Probably Sunday Ticket.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's NFL Sunday Ticket because it's away from DirecTV for the first time in, I think, ever.
Yep. But if YouTube TV is going to be that far behind, not a lot of people are going to be tuning into YouTube TV.
Yeah, that's one of your turn your phone off when you're watching the game.
Because I'm paying attention to either fantasy football or I'm going on the ESPN app. I'm like, okay, where are the other games are at? Because I'm watching the Vikings game, obviously, and then I'm looking at the fantasy app, ESPN, switching back and forth. But I'm not going to switch on to YouTube TV if the fantasy app is already 5 minutes ahead.
Right. They got to get that figured out. That's a big thing for this year. Yeah, it's interesting. But the good news is that NFL is back. NFL is back. It felt comforting watching that Vikings highlight tape last night. It felt good. It felt real. There was
could react to stuff a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we had Drew Lock. Yes. Throwing the ball around the yard.
Drew Lock, baby. What we're talking about.
Little redemption for Seattle there. Drew Lock had a decent game last night as the Vikings end up falling in preseason game number 1 for whatever it's worth. 24-13, the final there in Seattle. We'll step aside. When we come back, Phil Steele, college football connoisseur. He will join us after publishing the 29th edition of his renowned college football magazine, talk all things CFB as we approach kickoff in just a couple of weeks. That's coming up next here on The Insiders.
North Dakota State football plays here. Bison 1660.
I think what makes Proceed win is we're different than the other companies in many ways with our programming, our simplicity, our non-corporate attitudes, and our personal relationship building.
What Proceed is, we bring back the old-fashioned seed buying experience. We're true seedsmen. We care about everything from the sale to the planting to following up afterwards. That's what we're all about, is just trying to bring that experience back to a personal level.
Need seed? Think Proceed. Proceed.net. Great seed at a reasonable price.
Dakota Refrigeration, now known as DRI, has been serving Minnesota, the Dakotas, and Montana for over 4 decades. Locally owned and operated since 1974, DRI is a full-service source for your refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical service needs. From the entryway to the kitchen, from hot to cold, from dreary to bright, DRI has you covered. DRI, formerly Dakota Refrigeration, with locations in Fargo, Bismarck, and Minot, online at dacref.com.
Living at the Bridges has been a great experience for me, and I'm inviting you to come check it out too. Hey, it's Cole Payton with the Bison football team. The Bridges has all-inclusive pricing. That means internet, cable, electric, water, everything is included in your 1 monthly payment. And don't forget about the private bathrooms. And it's right across from the football practice complex, so I can walk to practice. The amenities are insane. A great fitness center, outdoor courtyard with fireplaces, grills, and even a pizza oven, a cyber cafe, and an automated convenience store. Tour today to find out more. Online at bridgesnd.com.
Another season of Bison football is upon us, Bison Nation, and you can count down to kickoff of Week 1 versus Eastern Washington with us on our website, Bison1660.com, courtesy of the Bud Light Countdown Clock. The Bison are looking to get back on top of the Missouri Valley Football Conference and be crowned champions of the FCS for their 10th time in school history. And nothing goes better with Bison football than a nice cold Bud Light. Join us in getting ready for the 2023 season of Bison football with Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Bison.
Corwin Honda has over 100 new Hondas ready and waiting for you. We're making it easy to drive off in a new Honda with financing as low as 0.9% APR plus dealer rebates on select models. You won't find a better deal anywhere. Corwin Honda believes in going the extra mile, so they're giving you their best rates on certified pre-owned vehicles. You can get rates on select models as low as 3.29%. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade, Corwin Honda has got you covered. Don't miss out on this unbeatable opportunity. Shop online, CorwinAuto.com.
Guide to entertainment. It's the Diamond Days of Summer Sale at Cutting Edge Jewelry. Save 25% off the entire inventory of natural diamonds. 25% off diamonds at Cutting Edge is huge. Get to Sicky's Garage every Wednesday for your chance to win a Street Bob 114 Harley-Davidson motorcycle, a trip to Las Vegas, a trailer, and more. Every Wednesday at Sicky's. It's the 2023 Glendon Days Festival. Activities all week long, sponsored by Midco. Saturday, don't miss the parade at 9:30, followed by our craft and vendor show, food trucks, inflatable games, and more. GlendonMN.com.
Gearing up for another season of Bison football? We've got you covered each and every day on the Insiders on Bison 1660.
I feel glorious, glorious. Got a chance to start again.
Insiders rolling along, 11:18 Central Time here in Fargo. This hour of the Insiders brought to you by Rick Electric. When you need electrical work, you need Rick Electric. For over 56 years, Rick Electric has been providing excellent electrical service for homes and businesses. Visit them online at rickelectric.com. Sam Niederman, Andy Rickoff, Micah Bindi here with you on a Feel Good Friday. And it's time to go to the Epic Companies hotline as we bring in Phil Steele, connoisseur of college football, the author of college football. Phil Steele's College Football Preview 2023 is out now. Volume 29 of the magazine. Phil, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you taking the time. How does it feel that you guys got this thing to print and the season is right around the corner? Another outstanding job as all of us football fans get ready for another year of kickoff in the college ranks.
Hey, I appreciate that very much. Yeah, there's a big sigh of relief once this thing goes to the press, and we had to send it to the press a little bit later than normal this year, and the fact that we wanted to capture all the transfer portal moves. So I talked to 123 of the 133 head coaches this year, and each one had my cell phone number. And after the portal closed on May 15th, I gave it 3 full weeks. I told the coaches, text me, call me. Even if it's June 6th, we went to the press June 7th, we'll change it. And I was getting texts and calls. We're adding players to the page last minute, changing the write-up for the positions, etc., but made it all worthwhile. I like to feel we captured about 95% of the portal changes in the magazine this year.
Wow, very, very impressive. On that note, do you feel like you guys have found a formula over the last few years with just the changes to the portal and the amount of roster moves that you guys have to account for? I feel like a few years into it now, you guys might have a little bit of a rhythm in getting such a high clip of accuracy.
Yeah, I definitely think that. And, here's the interesting thing this year, guys, and it involves FCS as well. After I talked to 123 of the head coaches, and what we do is we spend about an hour going over every player on the team. And I would keep noticing, hey, this FCS player moved in and started last year. This FCS player came in. So then I started asking the coaches after about 7th, 8th coach, hey, what's up with this? And they all had the same response at that point, which was basically the FCS players are talented players, and if they have the experience level, they come up with a chip on their shoulder. They're grateful for being there, and they produce right away in their first year. And it seemed like 75-80% of the FCS guys that moved up did produce right away.
Absolutely. We enjoyed meeting with Chris Van Dyne, who talked about the FCS magazine, the digital magazine that has been a tremendous resource. That is available with you guys, too. Phil, let's talk a little bit of ball here. What is your overall outlook as we head into the college football season as far as some of the teams that you think could be in that last four standing for the college football playoff?
Yeah, well, the Final Four that I projected this year, it starts with Georgia, and when you look at Georgia last year, they only had they lost 9 NFL draft picks. This year, they only lose 5. They're actually deeper, more experienced on defense than they were last year. Offensively, they got my number 1 rated offensive line, number 4 set of receivers. They added Missouri's number 1 receiver. They added Mississippi State's number 1 receiver to the lineup, which bolsters that. And while they have a new quarterback, they're going to be a double-digit favorite in each of their first 10 games this year. I think Carson Beck is a Heisman finalist, possibly, with their supporting cast he has, the fact Georgia will be winning their games. Their first real test is at Tennessee, November 18th. I think they passed that. I did call for Georgia to make the playoff. Another team I called for to make the playoff this year is Alabama. And this is the year that Nick Saban's usually most dangerous. Now, if you look at this team on paper, I mean, they only have 5 starters back on offense, 5 on defense. They're number 127 on my experience chart. You don't expect very much from Alabama if they were a normal team, but they're not preseason number 1 for the first time in 2 years. And the last time they weren't preseason number 1, guess what? They won the national title, went 13-0. The talent's there, and despite not knowing who their quarterback is, they've got 3 very capable guys in Tyler Buckner, Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson. So I think that they're going to have their typical year, and I'm not going to be the guy that doesn't pick Alabama to make the playoffs, especially when Nick Saban's not preseason number 1. That's when he's most dangerous. You go to the Big Ten, I think it's a 3-horse race in the East there between Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. I actually have Ohio State number 2 in my power poll, and Michigan number 3. The power poll is where I think the teams are talent-wise. And remember, Ohio State was a missed field goal against Georgia from being national champs last year. I feel they would have taken care of TCU in the title game. But this year, Ohio State plays the tougher schedule. They have to play Notre Dame on the road. They play Wisconsin on the road the week after they host Penn State. And they also play Michigan on the road. And that's why I went with Michigan to win the Big Ten this year. It's Jim Harbaugh's best team he's put on the field. And of all the big contenders, they're one of the very few that actually has a starting quarterback returning in J.J. McCarthy. They got my number 1 set of running backs. I'm on the Joe Moore Award Committee. We've given the Michigan offensive line the Joe Moore Award the last 2 years. They're my number 2 O-line heading into the season. I think they'll make the playoff. And then the other team I've got making the playoff this year is Clemson. And Clemson is a team that wasn't in a lot of folks' preseason top 10s at the start, but I think they'll start getting in there. They'll make the top 10 this year. And when I look at Clemson, after going over the team with Coach Sweeney, he pointed out that the defensive line, if you remember that 2018 group, it was one of the best ever in college football. He said this group doesn't have the star power of 2018, but it's actually deeper in talent and experience. They also have the linebacking core with Carter and Trotter both back, a solid secondary, veteran offensive line, improved receiving core, Shipley and Moffitt at running back, and I think Cade Klubnik makes a difference at QB. The biggest thing I like about Clemson is the schedule. The toughest 2 teams are Florida State and Notre Dame. They get them both at home. Clemson's only lost 1 home game the last 6 years in Death Valley. I think Clemson runs the table this year and makes a playoff.
And Phil Steele here with us, and Phil, Andy with you here. I appreciate you joining us once again like you do every single year. Great work on the magazine once again. You mentioned talking with coaches and specifically about the transfer portal, more so like who's in, who's out. What are those conversations like? I can assume at least the FBS coaches, like you said, probably love it that, hey, we're getting some guys with experience, they're talented coming up. FCS coaches maybe saying we're losing the guys with experience and talent. What were those conversations like, and what'd you kind of garner from the coaches?
Yeah, and I think it depends, as you pointed out, where you're from, and it's really Power 5 and Group of 5 coaches. It seemed like the majority of the Group of 5 coaches were a little dismayed that they get the 2-star, the 1-star, 2-star talent, develop them, turn them into a star player at their position, and then all of a sudden the Power 5 teams are grabbing them. In fact, I had one Group of 5 coach tell me that every single one of his 22 starters heading into their after spring practice had been approached by somebody offering money, saying, "Hey, come play for me." So it's really changed. The NIL, which is really not NIL. Let's face it, it's pay for play. Has really changed the face of college football, and it seems like some of the Group of 5 coaches said it's better to bring in a transfer because then at least they can't transfer out again, as opposed to developing a player and then having them transfer out when he turns into a star.
Phil Steele here with us on the Epic Companies hotline. Phil, really interesting there on Clemson. One of their counterparts of the ACC that's getting a lot of hype right now, Florida State. You mentioned that big matchup that'll be there in Death Valley at the end of September. That's week 4. Mike Norvell, he's got his best team here in year 4 with the Seminoles. They've got a Heisman candidate in Jordan Travis. What's your outlook for FSU as a lot of people have them pegged in that top 10 heading into the preseason?
Yeah, what a difference a year makes for Coach Norvell, huh? I mean, last year he's coming off 3-8, 5-7 seasons. He's on the hot seat list. Another losing year for Florida State, and this guy's done. But actually, last year they were the best team in the ACC. They led the ACC in total offense, total defense. They were plus 165 yards per game in ACC play, but they lost 3 close games during the year. Ironically, all in back-to-back-to-back weeks. Now, when I look at Florida State this year, Mike Norvell not only has 17 returning starters coming back, but he brings in a ton of transfers. They're number 2 on my experience chart coming into the year. And this was interesting to me. When I go through and do my position ratings in the front of the magazine, now I'm not concerned with teams or anything. I'm just analyzing the positions. And Florida State, if you look at them offensively and defensively, there's 7 positions: quarterback, running back, receiver, offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, and defensive back. Now, naturally, they rank in my top of the top units in all 7 positions. But what I found fun was after doing the magazine, going back and looking at the rankings, they actually rank in my top 15 in all 7 categories. So it is a very dangerous Florida State team. Jordan Travis is a Heisman candidate. They've got Benson and Toafili in the backfield, a veteran offensive line, and a veteran defense with Jared Verse coming back as well. They are a big-time threat to Clemson. But last year, Clemson did beat them on the road. And did so 34-28. This year they get them at home, so that to me was the key there. They also have to play Pitt on the road November 4th in some cold weather, and of course LSU in the opener. Although I've got Florida State favored in the opening game, even though Vegas has got LSU favored.
Phil, great to have you with us here. Give us somebody a little bit more of a dark horse. I think a lot of fans will pick out, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and those teams are really, really good. Michigan as well, and Clemson I think is a really fun pick because they've been away here for maybe a year or two where they haven't been quite as dominant. Is there a team that you view as maybe making a run that's outside of your top 15 or even into the 20s?
Yeah, I'm going to give you 2 teams. One of them is a team that I was surprised at the coaches poll. I think they came in something like 14 or 15. And that's Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame, I expected to be in the top 10 of the AP poll. If they don't make it, they would have been my number 1 surprise team this year. Defensively, they're stout. I mean, last year they were very strong, only allowing 329 yards per game. They've got 8 starters back there. The offensive line is a deep group. They've got practically everybody back from last year. The receiving core is upgraded. The running back core is deep. And last year, they were playing with a backup quarterback in Drew Pine. This year, they bring in one of the best quarterbacks in college football, in Sam Hartman. They get 2 key games, Ohio State, USC, both at home. Ohio State's got a young quarterback making basically his first road start. And they get USC in a game that when USC and Notre Dame play, the home teams won 9 of the last 10. If they win those games, I think the Irish, even if they lose at Clemson, 11-1, would make the playoff this year and be one of those dark horses. And the other one, let's go way out, a team that's probably not even going to be ranked to start the year, and that's Wisconsin. And, when I do the magazine in a 3 write-through process. The first write-through is a postseason write-through, where I read through every article that's written about the team during the course of the year, after, of course, having lived the season, watching my 12 games every Saturday. And at that point, with Wisconsin bringing in Phil Longo as the offensive coordinator, switching to a pass offense, I wasn't wild about the Badgers. I thought that it might be a bit of a transition. However, in the third write-through process, after talking to Coach Fickle, they're not going to abandon the run game. In fact, they actually haven't averaged over 5 yards per carry the last 3 years, which surprised me when I looked at that number. But he feels that that's because teams have been able to stack 8-9 players in the box to stop the run game. Now they bring in Tanner Mordecai from SMU to throw the football more. He feels that Braylon Allen and Ches Maluzzi will have more open holes to run in and be more effective. Defensively, they go from 3 returning starters to 8. In fact, they go from number 107 on my experience chart to number 20. I did a great blog on philsteele.com about teams that make that big jump on the experience chart. Check it out on philsteele.com right now. But when you look at the schedule, they have to play Washington State, Purdue, Illinois, Indiana, and Minnesota on the road. I consider all 5 of those road games winnable. Their toughest 2 opponents are Iowa, they get them at home, and Ohio State, which they play the week after they play Penn State. So I can see Wisconsin going 11-1 or 12-0. If they win the Big Ten title game, you're looking at a Badger team that sneaks into the playoff. Could be like last year's TCU, which came out of nowhere.
Wow, great call there, Phil. You know, that's a great point on Allen and Malusi. They're one of the more underrated running back duos in the Big Ten, especially when you look at what Michigan's got with Corum and Edwards and Penn State's got with Allen and Singleton. Let me go to a couple of teams in Texas to get your thoughts. Texas A&M, big year with Jimbo, big disappointment last year with one of the youngest but most talented crops of players on their roster. And then the Texas Longhorns with Sark, it's a big year for him. Especially with what they can do offensively, it could be a pretty crazy offense for UT. What are your thoughts on those two clubs?
Yeah, I'll start with Texas A&M, and I'll go over my conversations with Coach Jimbo Fisher last year. This is prior to the 2022 season, and a lot of the positions we'd go over. You know, like I spend about an hour with each coach. I'd say, okay, Coach, how do you feel about this? And like the offensive line last year, he said, Phil, we're going to have one of the best offensive lines in the country next year. He followed that next year up on a lot of them. You know, last year they were number 124 in my experience chart, and they did suffer some injuries. Remember, they lost their top wide receiver, Anais Smith, week 4. They used 3 different starting quarterbacks due to injury. I thought Connor Wegman really came out and played well as a true freshman late in the year. The defense was banged up. In fact, they were number 2 in my starts loss category last year. So they were a very banged up team, and yet, even suffering through that 5-7 season with a lot of close losses, they beat LSU 38-23. LSU's in everybody's top 5 this year. And against Alabama on the road, they're at the 2-yard line at the end of the game, down by 4 points, thrown in the end zone with a chance to win the game. So A&M last year showed they could play with the big boys. You know, they recruit with the same as Alabama, LSU, and Ohio State. And this year they're number 14 on my experience chart. Once again, check out that blog at philsteele.com. And 14 on my experience chart. This is the year Jimbo Fisher was talking about. They are loaded with 20 returning starters coming back. A&M is my number 1 most improved team in the country, and I actually consider, you know, everybody says, who's going to win the West, Alabama or LSU? I say who's going to win the West, Alabama, LSU, or Texas A&M. I put them on that same level. And with Texas, you know, going back, like I said about Wisconsin, when I first write-through process of the magazine, I said, you know, the one team I don't want to pick to win the Big 12 is Texas. Everybody's going to be gunning for them. They play the toughest schedule of any of the Big 12 teams. They actually have to face the other 6 teams, top 6 teams. They have to face 5 of them on the road, or face them this year. The only one of the top 6 that faces 5 of the others. So a tough schedule. Everybody gunning for them. But if you take a look at page 138 in the magazine, where I rate the Big 12 unit rankings, Texas ranks number 1, either number 1 or tied for number 1 in all 8 position categories. They're just loaded with talent. And Quinn Ewers back at QB, vastly improved. The running back core, despite losing a couple of outstanding guys like Bijan Robinson and Roshan Johnson, is deep. The offensive line's got all 5 starters back. They returned Jalen Ford, who could have been the Big 12 newcomer of the year last year. The only game I have an underdog in all year is when they play Alabama. So they are the preseason favorite to win the Big 12. And here's something you might not realize, and I didn't realize it till I actually researched it this year. You think Texas is always picked high, right? Well, the last time they were actually picked to win the Big 12 was way back in 2009. So it's been 14 years since they were picked. I believe they even won it that year. So it could be a good year to be a Texas Longhorn fan.
That's a really good point, because when they were picked to win it this year, I said every year it feels like they're picked to win it, or picked to be up there at least higher, and maybe the expectations are a little out of whack in Texas. But I'm going to go to another team in the Big 12, and a team that means a lot to some of the fans around here. That would be the Kansas State Wildcats. Chris Kleiman, they won it a year ago. They got a lot of pieces back. Will Howard, I thought, had a massive step a year ago. He's back there as the big-bodied quarterback, 6'5", 242, threw for 15 touchdown passes in just 7 games. What do you like about what Chris Kleiman has done down there in the Little Apple?
I love everything that Chris Kleiman's done there at Kansas State. I mean, to do what he did, and a lot of folks don't even realize that they're returning Big 12 champs. Everybody thinks TCU, because they played in the title game, won the Big 12, but no, Kansas State did. Now, last year they had more star power. As you remember, coming into the year, they had 7 guys who were like first or second Big 12. Martinez at quarterback, Vaughn at running back, Knowles at wide receiver. They had Huggins at nose guard, Uzama at defensive end, Brent's a cornerback. 6 of those 7 guys are gone this year. The only one of the stars returning in that respect is Daniel Green. But as you pointed out, Will Howard really took over that quarterback position at the end of the year and was playing his best ball. I really like the transfer of Trayshawn Ward. And DJ Giddens was a much improved running back in the spring. But Ward's a guy who's not going to be Deuce Vaughn, but he could come close. He's the original Florida State guy. They've got a very solid offensive line. Everybody back there. Defensively, you know they're going to be strong. Biggest question mark might be receiver, where they do lose 4 of the top 6 guys. But I like Phillip Brooks coming back, and they're solid at tight end. They do have to play Oklahoma State on the road and Texas on the road, but they're once again legitimately a Big 12 title contender, and Kleiman will have them there, I think, every single year.
Phil Steele here with us, talking college football. Phil, I want to go out west. Pac-12 is going to have some great quarterback play this year. Mike Penix at Washington, Bo Nix, veteran at Oregon, and, of course, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, and Caleb Williams at Southern Cal, and that's not even to mention Cam Rising at Utah. Give us a little rundown on the Pac-12 and what you see in that league.
Yeah, and I think you covered that right straight on as great quarterbacks in the Pac-12. And even when you look at Oregon State, last year Oregon State got by with average quarterback play. They bring in DJ Uiagalelei. I don't think DJ is going to be one of the premier quarterbacks in the country, but he's very talented and did a good job with Clemson last year. And UCLA is even a threat if Dante Moore steps up as a true freshman. He's the number 3 rated QB out of high school. You know, interesting, last year it was really the Big 6, Little 6 in the Pac-12 as the top 6 teams, those 4 that you mentioned, the 2 I just mentioned, were 30-2 against teams from the bottom part of the Pac-12. And then you look at the fact that they win the majority of their home games, each of those 6. So I went by the fact who plays the fewest amount of the big boys on the road, and that's USC and Oregon State. USC only plays Oregon on the road. Their other road games in Pac-12 play are Arizona State, Colorado, California, and so they're in good shape there. And Oregon State only plays Oregon on the road. So both those teams, I think, have the best schedules. When I look at USC, Heisman Trophy winner coming back, you know they're going to be explosive offensively. And defensively, I think they will be improved. After going over the team with Coach Riley, I like the addition of Bear Alexander, 315 pounds in the middle from Georgia. Anthony Lucas, a 295-pound defensive end from Texas A&M. Both were among my top 6 defensive linemen coming out of high school. Mason Cobb, one of Oklahoma State's top tacklers. Christian Rolla-Wallace, a cornerback. And remember, in the title game last year against Utah, Caleb Williams got banged up in the first quarter, and Williams' strength all year was avoiding the rush. He took 6 sacks because he was hobbling around on that ankle injury. I think if he stays healthy and the defense plays up to the improved level, they're my favorite to win the Pac-12. But Utah might be the most talented at the line of scrimmage, both offensive and defensive line. Oregon's a team who, their quarterback, Bo Nix, was hobbled at the end of the year last year, and they blew a huge lead against Oregon State, or they would have been in the title game. They led that thing 31-10 in the third quarter. They're a threat. And then, as you mentioned, Washington with Michael Penix, they could very well be 8-0 when they travel to face USC on November 4th. It is too bad the Pac-12 is going out of business, because this is probably the best the Pac-12 has been in quite a few years.
And Phil Steele here with us. You can find the magazine at philsteele.com. Go get it like me and Sam do. It's the Bible for all things college football. And Phil Steele, in my opinion, is the author of college football as well. I wanted to get a couple comparisons from you, because this thing's now 20 years in the making. By the way, I'm 29 years old, so my whole life I've known the Phil Steele magazine. It's a coincidence there, I'm sure. But you've got a couple of things I wanted your thoughts and maybe a comparison back to some of the other great defenses and great quarterbacks. First off, the Georgia defense has had a historic run here these last really 2-3 years, where half their defense basically gets drafted every year and then they just reload and they're amazing again. And so is there a defense from years past that the Georgia defense reminds you of, the run that they are on? And then Caleb Williams, is there a quarterback that reminds you from a hype perspective? The hype he has coming into this year is pretty significant. Is there another quarterback that kind of reminds you of Caleb Williams?
Yeah, and those Georgia players that get drafted, they generally go to the Eagles, don't they?
Yes, the Philadelphia Bulldogs, yes.
Boy, there have been some great defenses. I mean, I can go back, and I remember Nebraska, Oklahoma, a long time ago back in the 70s. Nebraska had just a super defense. Oklahoma had some good defenses, Ohio State, Michigan. But it's a different era of college football. I mean, the teams move a lot faster now. You get a lot more plays in the games. So, statistically they may not be there, but I've been just super impressed. I don't know if this Georgia defense, I think this Georgia defense is better than last year's defense, but maybe not quite up to that 2021, which only allowed 10.2 points per game. As far as Caleb Williams goes, if this guy stayed healthy, they would have made the playoff last year, I feel he was the difference in that Pac-12 title game. He has got everything you want at 6'1", 230. He's got the size, he's got the arm, he's got the mobility. I love the way he reads defenses. He takes care of the football. 42 touchdowns throwing, another 10 touchdowns running, only 5 interceptions all year. He does look like he will be one of the premier quarterbacks coming out of college football this season.
Phil, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much for joining us, and thank you for all you do for the sport. Enjoy the season, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. It's always a lot of fun talking football, so appreciate it very much, and have yourself a great season.
Awesome. You do the same, Phil. That's Phil Steele from College Football Preview Magazine. Phil Steele's College Football joining us on the Epic Companies Hotline, talking a little college football with us ahead of the season. Always in depth, always the authority. As Andy told you, the College Football Bible. It does not get better than Phil Steele's College Football Magazine.
Got to have something important for year 30, though. Like next year, I feel like year 30's got to have something extra to it.
Yeah, maybe like a golden cover.
Maybe.
You know,
That'd be nice.
I've got the national one. The FCS one has Cam Miller on the cover, which is cool. But the national one has got a nice little color scheme with Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr., all the stars of college football. I think a golden
cover
for the Big 30. Phil Steele and Andy Rickoff doing life one year at a time together. Oh, man. Love it. So we'll step aside right here. When we come back, it's a future crop of Bison, getting you a look at some of the young NDSU players who will make an impact this season. That's coming up here on The Insiders.
This is The Insiders on your exclusive home for North Dakota State Athletics, Bison 1660.
And it's booked. Wait, what if my flight gets canceled or the room is terrible? Ugh, what am I doing? Travel always has specials on dream trips. They do corporate travel, honeymoons, everything. I'm booking with Travel just to be safe. This week's Travel hot deal of the week is
Dublin, Ireland, November 7th through the 15th. Airfare from Fargo. 7 nights lodging at the Hotel Rio Plaza, the Gresham, Dublin, with breakfast daily. $1,465 a person, double occupancy. Call Travel or online at ttravel.com.
CNH Industrial in Fargo is a proud sponsor of the Hire Job Fair, August 15th at the Delta Hotels by Marriott. Stop by the CNH booth from 1 to 4 to apply. CNH Industrial has current openings for assembly, welders, finish painters, CNC operators, and mechanics. If you're ready to take your career to the next level, making world-class equipment and technology for agriculture and construction, you don't want to miss this opportunity. Can't make it to hired? Visit cnhfargojobs.com for upcoming hiring events.
Luther Family Ford works hard every day to give the community the best customer service in all their departments. The sales team is always ready to help, and they are delighted to have a great selection of new Ford trucks and SUVs on the lot. They invite you to stop by for a test drive. You'll enjoy working with the sales department, service department, and parts. Or, if you are thinking of selling your current vehicle, they will pay cash for it. Visit with their sales staff today or shop online, lutherfamilyford.com.
This month at Dakota Magic Casino, you could win up to $100,000 in cash if you crack the Mega Vault code. Come in all month long to play your favorite games and earn entries into a drawing that happens on Saturday, August 26th. That day starting at noon, 5 winners will be drawn every half an hour. Crack the Mega Vault code and you can win up to $100,000 in cash. Earn double drawing entries by playing on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Dakota Magic Casino. Anthony of the Dakota Nation Gaming Enterprise.
Here's your Red River Valley weather update on Bison 1660.
Still mostly clear on your Friday in the FM area. A chance of thunderstorms tonight, however, and a low in the upper 50s. 80s and sunny on Saturday, and Sunday brings a chance of showers and a high in the upper 70s. Are you using the weekend to tackle home renovation projects? Check another project off your list as we head into fall with Minn Kota Windows. Their sleek designs and energy-efficient windows are sure to breathe new life into your living spaces. Midwest built, Midwest tough, guaranteed for life.
Harvest season is right around the corner. It's time to get your equipment in gear. Horn Plastics marks 40 incredible years in the business, so why trust anyone else? They've got the inventory and unbeatable discounts to make sure your trucks are ready to roll, including their game-changing Super Slide bed liners, the secret to smoother operations and protected cargo. Built tough, built durable, the Super Slide bed liners are engineered to last, saving you time and money. Join the countless satisfied customers who have trusted Horn Plastics over the years. To learn more, visit hornplastics.com. RickElectric.com.
It's Chris Hansen, and for years we have trusted the experts at Rick Electric. Since 1964, Rick Electric has been the go-to for residential, commercial, and industrial. And right now is a great time to consider having a Generac whole home generator installed. If the power goes out, you'll barely notice because of an automatic seamless transition. For work in Fargo, Moorhead, Hawley, Horace, Glendon, Dilworth, Kindred, and everywhere in between, it's Rick Electric at rickelectric.com.
Sicky's Garage. 50 burgers, 50 brews, and more. Summertime is made for getting out and soaking up the sun. Add in motorcycles, free beer, live music, and tons of prizes. You'll have bike night every Wednesday at Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews. Every Wednesday, 5 to 9 throughout the summer. Don't forget your free punch card. The more punches you have, the more tickets you'll get for the end-of-season grand prizes, like a bike trailer, trip for two to Las Vegas, a 2023 Street Mob 114, and more. We'll see you at Sicky's. Just because you own a pontoon doesn't quite make it a party barge until you visit Sight on Sound. That beauty was an investment into fun. Make sure you take your Bluetooth marine audio to the next level with brands like Kicker, Alpine, and Sony. Get noticed for style and safety when you get that tricked out LED lighting with Sight on Sound. Get to Sight on Sound today to see all the exciting options for this summer. Online, sightonsoundfargo.com.
Bring it on home from Sight on Sound.
Sight on Sound, Main Avenue, Fargo.
Whether it's the FCS, NFL, or productivity at work, we have you covered.
That man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
It's The Insiders on Bison 1660.
Feel Good Friday here on The Insiders. Hour number 1 continues from our First Western Bank Broadcast Center. First Western Bank and Trust is your community bank with premier customer service and banking on the go with the My First Western app. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Also, keep in mind, we will be giving away more tickets to Def Leppard and Motley Crue. The World Tour comes to Fargo, the center of the world, as I like to call it, the Fargo Dome. The World Tour with Def Leppard and Motley Crue today, 5:45 at the Fargo Dome. If you want tickets, you probably can't get them anywhere else, but right here on The Insiders, just text the keyword ROCK to 701-476-1660. We'll pick a winner for a 3-pack of tickets at the end of the hour, coming up in a few minutes, and at the end of hour number 2 today.
I love it. Get in there. Going to be a good show tonight. Last gasp to try and get in there with the Def Leppard Motley Crue tickets. Fellas, this is what I've been waiting for all morning. We do it every Friday. It's my first time. Future Crop of Bison, presented by CNH Industrial.
The Bison have had plenty of talented players all over the field.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Every season brings a chance for the next generation of Bison to make their impact and a new harvest of impact players for Bison Nation.
Doc, I'm from the future.
Here's the future crop of Bison.
All right, Andy. I have been waiting.
Chomping
waiting to
at
do
the
this.
bit.
Any advice here?
This is probably the only reason you even came and took the job, because you're like, future crop of Bison, this is what I want to do.
Yes, it actually
advice? I don't want to give you too much advice, because technically we're competitors in this thing. You know, I'm very competitive about everything, including future crop of Bison. But just, pick someone you think's got a chance. You've been out at practice. You've seen a few people. Have some, maybe some information on the individual, and go from there. I think it'll be fine.
I think we're ready to roll then. Future crop of Bison Friday.
Micah, you're good?
Yeah.
I'm Gucci.
Okay.
All right, I got first pick here. With the first pick, this is week... It started all the way back in April. This is week 18. Team Sam jumping in on future crop of Bison. With the first pick in the week 18 future crop of Bison draft, Team Sam selects Enoch Sibumana, linebacker, Fargo South High School.
Micah's got a puzzled look.
Are we sure? Are we sure he wasn't already picked by Kyle?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't think he's been picked.
He's not on the list.
He's been mentioned a couple of times.
Okay, okay.
He's not on the list.
Nope.
Not on the list.
He's on the website. You're
not
good there.
on the list. All right.
Sounds good.
Almost had a snafu. Enoch Sibumana.
You're good there. Yep.
That's who I'm going with.
Played a little bit, but I think qualifies as a future crop.
Oh, yeah,
could make an impact. Yep.
Easily qualifies.
3
he was someone we
games.
talked about last year a bit, for one of those outside linebacker positions.
Yeah, he played early in the season. 3 games. Missouri Valley Football Conference honor roll, so got it done in the classroom as well. Had a solo tackle in the season opener against Drake. He's got a chance to make an impact. I've been seeing him out at the practice fields, doing a nice job, getting into the rotation there. We'll talk at Media Day, actually, too, with Grant Olson. That's coming up. NDSU's got its Media Day. We'll have the press conference from Coach Entz broadcast here on Bison 1660. But I'm going with Enoch. He's my first pick. Glad it's without major controversy.
Great pick, Sam.
Appreciate you, Micah. Appreciate you. So I'm going with Enoch. He's on my team. That's my pick. Who you guys going with?
I think that's a good one. And from a local angle, too. He's ingratiating himself to the locals around here.
Fargo
High
South, yeah.
Fargo South High School. He's a Bruin.
I'm familiar.
Position change for him. There's a couple of them. Let's go, Micah. You can go next. You
Sweet.
were very high on yours, and I think I got the steal of the draft, so let's go last. Here.
I thought the steal of the draft was Mekhi Collins.
He was. He was.
You have the new steal of the draft.
The next best steal of the. And then last week, the steal of the draft was Trey Drake.
Gotcha.
Quarterback.
Every week, steal of the draft for Andy Rickoff. Mine, I'm on the defensive end, as what Kyle would say, where the athletes play. Defensive end. This guy, he played linebacker at a different school, though. He was at the University of Arizona, if that's a hint for either of you, and Bison Nation, so a team that the Bison faced this last season. But now he's listed on NDSU's roster, transferring from Arizona to this Bison defense. Code Green, 6'1 sophomore, defensive end. Mojo Wirtz, also known as Matt Wirtz. He is the brother of Luke Wirtz, who's in the linebacker group on this Bison defense. Guy that might make an impact here. You always want depth on the defensive line, defensive end group. He was a linebacker for Arizona, but the Bison are listing him right now at defensive end. We'll see how much he plays. He had 2 games that he played on special teams at Arizona. Did not record a stat, but he'll have some more opportunities this year to either be special teams or defense. Mojo Wirtz, my pick.
I love it. Keeping the brother theme on the NDSU defense.
If you haven't figured it out already, there's a lot of brother themes.
Yeah.
Not just on the football team, but throughout NDSU athletics. Like Jack Steele plays for NDSU baseball. They had a commit for football that was his brother. They're cross-sport brothers or sisters as well. There's some sibling connections through North Dakota. They call it a family, and now they're taking it literally. Is really the way I look at that one. I like the pick, though. We talk a lot about Hunter Zenzen, a transfer in defensive end. You bring a transfer in as well at another position there defensively to add to that pass rush. I absolutely love it. Mine is going to be someone that you won't see this year. I'm playing the long game for this pick on the future crop of Bison. You guys are going maybe instant impact. I'm going to put it in a crock pot, let it simmer for a couple hours on high, and then you pull it out. You walk in and it smells great because crock pots always smell great when you're cooking something there.
Quite the analogy here.
I'm going to go offensive line. You've gone small town offensive line. This is not a small town. This is Chanhassen, Minnesota, Minnetonka High School. I'm going to go Jack Lewinsky, offensive lineman, freshman class, 6'3", 277. Got some beef. Maybe add a few more pounds that continue to change the body. But I think he's got a chance to be an impact player, not only because of just coming from a somewhat bigger school. That's the highest level of high school ball in Minnesota. Minnetonka High School, big-time school out there, big city. But in high school, 3-year starter, team captain in his senior year. We love all that stuff. 3-time all-conference. Not easy to do 3 years in a row when you're a sophomore there. Helped the Skippers, another good high school name, the Skippers, 15-11 record in his varsity record. Also competed in the shot put and discus. We like multi-sport athletes. Shot put discus is good. But this is the big one. And this is why he somewhat relates to me and Micah, but also even to Sam a little bit. He is the son of Nicole and Chris Lewinsky. Father was an offensive lineman for Indiana.
Wow.
For Indiana, Hoosier out there before a 10-year NFL career with only the greatest football team in the history of the NFL, your Minnesota Vikings from 1998 to 2005. Also played with the Cardinals and the Dolphins, too. So a nice, lengthy 10-year NFL career. Not easy to do whatsoever. That's some pretty good lineage right there, I would say. I'm going with Jack Lewinsky, number 66.
That's an excellent find this
Boom.
deep in the draft, Mr. Andy Rickoff.
Steele.
It's a great pick.
That's a long-term investment.
Yes.
I applaud it. It's always good when he's got Hoosier ties. So that's a good pick. Chanhassen, too, headquarters of Lifetime Fitness.
Yes, well, look at you knowing that.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. I love it. Future crop of Bison. Another round in the books. Enoch Sibomana. I got to get that. That's a tongue twister right there. I'll work on it before the season comes calling. Micah goes with Mojo Wirtz. And then Andy goes with Jack Lewinsky, freshman offensive lineman from Minnetonka High School.
The Skippers.
Letting it go in the crock pot. Letting it go simmer for a little bit. Well done, boys. Appreciate you letting me jump in late and tag it in late here.
How do you feel about your first pick?
I feel great about it.
Also a former quarterback in high school, too, Enoch.
That's what you need. You
Great
need an athlete. You need somebody. I love it when they play both sides of the ball, and I'm sure the coaching staff loved it, too. That's always good to see. The local kid, local flavor from Fargo South there.
And, of course, our Future Cup of Bison brought to you by CNH Industrial, world-class equipment and technology for agriculture and construction. Break new ground in your career at cnhindustrial.com. There's some names for this year and future years for the Bison.
You want to give away those Motley Crue Def Leppard tickets before we get into break and have Coach Entz here at the top of the hour?
Absolutely. Already given away a couple of pairs of this over the week. Pick a winner. Steve Ostendorf or Ostendorf, however you pronounce that last name. But Steve, congratulations. You have won a 3-pack of tickets to Def Leppard and Motley Crue. We'll reach out to you. We'll get you set up. We got one more to give away, though. One more 3-pack. So if you want that in hour number 2, text the keyword ROCK, 701-476-1660. And also, this hour of the Insiders was brought to you by Rick Electric. A big thanks to Greg Rick and his team at Rick Electric. Excellent electrical services for homes and businesses online at rickelectric.com.
Well done, Andy. Congrats to Steve. He's rocking at the Fargo Dome tonight. Def Leppard and Motley Crue. That's the end of hour number 1. When we come back, head coach Matt Entz, NDSU Bison football coach, will join us and give us his thoughts on week 2 of fall camp.
Twisted tea.
Whiskey.
Twisted tea.
Whiskey.
Twisted tea.
Whiskey.
There's no need to fight. There's now Twisted Tea Sweet Tea Whiskey available. It's made with whiskey and real brewed tea. It'll take your taste buds on a wild ride that's smooth and sweet. Twisted Tea Sweet Tea Whiskey can make anyone a whiskey fan. 32.5% alcohol, 65 proof. Pick up a bottle and feel Twisky today with Twisted Tea Sweet Tea Whiskey.
With the rising threat of cybersecurity attacks, you need to ensure your business is fully protected. Data loss, ransomware attacks, and other breaches can disrupt your business and damage your reputation. Consolidated Communications Cloud Secure Service safeguards your business from these attacks by securing your network, data, and applications. We proactively monitor your security to prevent intrusions before they compromise your IT systems while protecting your staff in the office or when working remotely. Visit consolidatedcommunications.com/cloudsecure to protect your business.
The Bison 1660 crew is on the road again with the Bison Road Tour brought to you by The Bridges. Check out Bison1660.com for a full list of dates and locations for all of our stops on the Bison 1660 Road Tour as another season of Bison football gets going. We give away Bison swag exclusively from CI Sport, plus Bison football tickets and the world-famous NDSU yard signs at each stop. Plenty of stops around town and a chance for you to watch the Insiders live. The Bison 1660 Road Tour is brought to you exclusively by The Bridges Apartments.
Family Fare has sweet summertime savings for the whole family. Save on Golden Plump Boneless Skinless Chicken Breast Family Packs are now $2.97 per pound. And whole seedless watermelon, $2.99 each with digital coupon. A healthy choice that's tasty too. Plus, beat the heat and re-energize with Monster Energy Drinks. 4-pack 16-ounce cans are $5.99. Pick up these summer favorites that are sure to be crowd pleasers at your next cookout. Family Fare in your neighborhood.
Hey, business owners, when it's project time, you've got your plumber, you've got your electrical guy, but do you have your window guy? Now you do. Dabtech Window Services. Dabtech is your local door and window expert. Do you have a cracked window? Maybe your windows fog up and create too much condensation. Or maybe you just want new, big, and beautiful clear windows or doors. Dabtech can custom create whatever you need. Top-rated products with experienced technicians that do it right the first time. Dabtech, a decade of service with a century of experience. Online at dabtechwindowservices.com.
And it's booked. Wait, what if my flight gets canceled or the room is terrible? What am I doing? Travel always has specials on dream trips. They do corporate travel, honeymoons, everything. I'm booking with Travel just to be safe. This week's Travel hot deal of the week is
Dublin, Ireland, November 7th through the 15th. Airfare from Fargo. 7 nights lodging at the Hotel Rio Plaza, the Gresham, Dublin, with breakfast daily. $1,465 a person, double occupancy. Call Travel or online at ttravel.com.
Don't miss Jacuzzi Hot Tubs of Fargo flash sale going on now through August 14th. It's time to relax and enjoy a rebate. You'll receive a $500 instant rebate plus smart tub upgrade for only $99. If you've been thinking about getting a hot tub, now is the time during their flash sale going on until August 14th at Jacuzzi Hot Tubs of Fargo. Your wellness journey begins with a hot tub. Bring the power of hydrotherapy to your backyard oasis. Stop by today and experience the jacuzzi difference or online at jacuzzihottubsoffargo.com.
Gateway Chevrolet's lot is loaded with new Chevy Silverados. Stop by and take a test drive and find out how you can save $7,250 on a new Chevy Silverado at Gateway Chevrolet. The new Silverados are more versatile, more powerful, plus the best-looking truck with more technology and safety benefits than any other truck in the market. So head over to Gateway Chevrolet and save $7,250 on a new Silverado with trade, only at Gateway Chevrolet. Find new roads. Details gatewayfargo.com.
KQWB West Fargo, KPFX HD3 Kindred, and K224FD Fargo. Bison 1660, powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
Bison Pride, everything we do. This one's for you, Corso, wherever you are. Give me that Bison.
This is the Insiders on Bison 1660, covering the world of NDSU sports like no other.
North Dakota State advances to the round of 32.
Touchdown, Bison!
The Insiders are presented by Proseed. Need seed? Think Proseed. Welcome to your Green and Gold HQ for the Bison. The Insiders on Bison 1660 starts now.
It is hour number 2 of the Insiders here on a Feel Good Friday. Bison 1660. This hour of the Insiders brought to you by Wimmer's Diamonds, a local family-owned jeweler serving and believing in this community for over 100 years. Stop in and see them at their new showroom, 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo. We are now pleased to be joined by the head coach of North Dakota State football. Matt Entz joins us on the Epic Companies hotline talking fall camp for the Bison. Coach Entz, appreciate you taking a few minutes to meet with us. Thank you for joining the show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Absolutely. Doing great, Coach. What is your evaluation of camp after a full week in the books here?
You know, I like where we're at right now. Of course, some areas we're farther away than I'd like, but our kids are practicing at a high level right now. We're staying relatively healthy, which enables us to continue to move forward as a program. Been very competitive. We've tried to throw in some competitive situations during, especially on yesterday's practice. We had a number of them, and really the last 2 days we've tried to ramp up the competitiveness, just trying to get the best out of all of our players on our football team. But it's been good. There's been some young guys who have started to show themselves a little bit, and even seen. It's nice to have some healthy bodies back too. Guys we might have missed a big chunk of last year. It's nice to see those guys out producing.
Coach, appreciate your time here with us. Full pads on this week. What changes for you and for the guys as well out there when the pads start popping a little bit?
Well, we've already had pads on for the last 2 days, and we'll alternate per NCAA rules here through the remainder of fall camp. So tomorrow will be full pad, and then Sunday will be a half pad, and then Monday will be full, and Tuesday will be half pad again. So we kind of get a little bit in a routine right now, but it enables us to do some more of the competitive things. So we've done a little bit of tackling already, live tackling within some of those competitive scenarios. But Andy, you've been to practice enough. Even when we're half pads, it probably looks like full pad practice. It doesn't. Just having pads on enables us. We're a line of scrimmage based football team. We got to be good up front, both sides of the ball, and having pads on enables us to practice at a higher tempo with a little more urgency.
Coach Matt Entz joining us on the Epic Companies hotline. Coach, a very special week at camp this week as Coach Rocky Hager came back to campus to visit with the team. Legendary NDSU coach who coached the Bison to 2 national championships during his tenure from 1987 to 1996. What did it mean to have Coach Hager back with the team this week?
Well, I think it meant a lot. It meant a lot to me. Coach he's someone that reached out early when I became head football coach. I knew of him before then. I have a relationship. I know his son, Josh, real well. And he had met him a number of times, maybe at the national convention. And just to get someone back who understands the tradition, understands the high level of expectations and standard that surround this program, but could speak to it from a different angle. Very similar message that I think our coaches are sharing with our young men on a football team, but it's always good to hear from somebody else. And, to have probably 50 or so former players back on Tuesday, I know Coach Hager his schedule was plumb busy. Every minute of every day he was here. Former coaches, former players, friends in the community, all reaching out, wanting to get a little bit of his time. But it was great this morning. Before we got on the plane, him and I sat down for about 2.5 hours and dove through a number of topics that are surrounding college athletics right now, and then a number of topics that just are exclusive to NDSU. And it was good to hear his thoughts, and we share probably a lot of things philosophically, and I'm excited about that. He's a great man, and it's been awesome to get to know him over the last 5 years, and I really appreciate him taking the time away from his grandkids and his wife to come spend some time with us.
That's really awesome. It was fun to see that and to see Coach Hager back in the area. Obviously, NDSU talks about tradition, and I think a lot of programs do. I can tell NDSU means it when you get something like that with Coach Hager coming back. How do you keep the next crop of players, the incoming freshman class or the class last year when you're bringing in former coaches? How do you try and relay what it was like in the Division II era and everything? Because they weren't even born when Coach Hager was doing what he was doing. How do you kind of ingrain that aspect of Bison culture into these maybe younger generations of Bison football players?
Well, I think it starts probably, Andy, with the expectations and the level of discipline and accountability we have within the program. You know as well as I do, you are what you tolerate. And, so I think it starts with our veterans, our returning players, our coaches, our words and actions matching up, and just being really transparent with our players about, hey, here's the expectation. At some places, you're going to go and have high expectations on the football field. But one of the things that's unique to this place and makes it different is the expectations in all areas. It's academically, it's athletically, it's giving back to the community. Wednesday, our players, all 110 of them were down at Kingpin for Fan Day. Those are things you need to do. Those are relationships and having interaction with our fans that is something that is expected here at NDSU, maybe not at other universities. And so I think just trying, as soon as we get them on campus, start kind of peeling back the layers so they can understand. But also, it's always great when you can bring a former player from a different era, or, like tomorrow night, A.J. Van Voorst is coming back. A.J. graduated in 2013, not really that long ago. 10 years ago, he played here, but coming back to share his stories, his memories, and what, in his mind, makes this program so unique and so special.
Coach, it's interesting because the fall camp setting allows for so much bonding with the team and basically a chance where you're with each other 24/7 starting now and throughout the season. You learn a lot about your team at this portion of the year in addition to what you had learned in the offseason and spring ball. What are you learning about this group in particular for 2023? How would you describe the personality of this team as you've gotten to know them here in camp, and not only on the football field, but a lot of, off the field, whether it be meetings or speakers, as you've alluded to here so far?
Sure. I think this group is extremely focused right now. They know what they want it to look like. They know what they want their play to emulate. And so they've been very matter-of-fact about their approach, which I like. I want us to have some fun, too, though. And, it is a game. We need to enjoy the competition. We need to enjoy practice and go out there with focus. But I'm excited about that, just about their workman-like mentality that they have right now. That's exciting. I think they know that we have to get better every single day. And that's something that we continue to encourage, incremental gains. How can we improve from day to day? How can we stack really good days on top of each other? I think that's one of the things that, within this program, our daily environment, our daily process is so important. If we can continue to stack those days on top of one another, that ultimately leads to good culture. And so that's where we're trying to get is just making sure that our approach, that the preparation, the execution, that's why we film everything. I think some of our young guys get blown away at the number of camera angles we have on everything. I mean, we probably have 10 to 12 cameras at practice every day. We film everything. So there's always going to be some sort of feedback coming to them, and there's always coaching going on, and it's just been exciting. It's fun to watch the young guys grow, the first and second year players, and it's fun to see the veterans lead now too.
Coach Entz giving us some time here on Friday, kind enough to join us here on the Insiders. Coach, defensively, new defensive coordinator for you in his first season, Jason Petrino. What's it been like having Coach Petrino here with the program here, and what have you seen from that side of the ball as we've got a couple of weeks of camp under our belt?
He's done a really good job of first off, just kind of understanding what we've done in the past and what has made Code Green football, NDSU defense unique and special. Some of the things that traditionally that we talk about, and so he's bought into that. And having some connections here, it's made it easier for him. Being in the league and having seen us from maybe a 30,000-foot view, but once you get into it, it's different than maybe what you see. But he's brought a couple new things to the table, which is exciting. I think our players are receptive, very detailed in his approach. I like where we're at. I know we're going to continue to develop and continue to grow, and that's one of the exciting things. There's some new names, some new faces, very talented athletically. Now it's going to be fun to see how they can transition that talent and that athleticism onto the game field.
We've been talking about Tamarick Williams and his opportunity really throughout the last couple of months, but for some reason this week, with guests we've had on our other things, his name's come up more. And so I wanted to ask you about the opportunity in front of him as kind of that lead back in the room. I know he's a transfer into the program, but now he feels like he's been here forever. He feels like a Bison through and through. What's the process been like with Tamarick throughout his career here, and the opportunity he's got in front of him this year? Pretty special one for him is that lead back.
Oh, it is. He has a lot of opportunities ahead of him, and I think everyone, myself included, is extremely excited. This is a young man who I have been able to and fortunate enough to create a great relationship with, and I respect his ability, just the leader he's become. Andy, you hit it right on the head when you said you would never guess this young man went somewhere before here. Nope. He is all about the Bison. He's all about how we go about our business. He's on our leadership council now after only being here for a couple, 2-3 years, and so I'm looking forward to big year. One of the things that he got in, of course, first time you're here, there's a lot of learning. It's new terminology, new verbiage. All the things are every day's new for you. Last year he battled a little bit of an injury, and then he kind of had some big games for us late in the year, and I'm super excited. Knock on wood, we've been able to stay extremely healthy. He looks good. He looks confident. He's running hard, and I expect big things out of him. I know I'm not saying anything that he doesn't expect out of himself right now, and I know he's chomping at the bit to get going and get out there against somebody different.
Coach, on that note, defensive side, another player who's back and healthy, Eli Mostart, heart of the defensive line after losing him early last season and then now having him back to full strength. What's it been like to see him back out on the field, and how big of a addition is that going to be to have him back in the fold here?
Well, it's anytime you can bring back anyone with that All-American caliber type skills. That's a huge asset to add. But one of the byproducts, and sometimes we minimize this, is when he got hurt, it forced guys like Cody Heisman, Jackson Dutenheffer, Will Mostart, Javier Darrett to take on more of the load. And one of the exciting things is all 4 of those guys are back, along with Logan Larson, along with Eli now. And so we got great depth, we feel, at that defensive tackle spot. And so it's been kind of a win-win getting him back, his leadership, his knowledge of what we're doing defensively. But, Eli is such a twitchy player for being 285 pounds. He can create some matchup problems internally with some internal offensive linemen. And so we got to make sure we put him in a situation where he can be successful. And, we got to continue to knock on wood that we stay healthy because he is a difference maker.
And Matt Entz here with us. Also got Jake Kava back there at the defensive end spot. Some more veteran presence for you on the pass rush, which is going to be great. Offensively, receivers, we've talked a lot about them. We had a few of them on the show yesterday, actually. And, Bryce Lance, Eli Green, two guys I think can really help you there. What's that battle like in the receiver room on kind of a day-in, day-out basis when you're getting a lot of younger guys that are hungry?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd use the word battle right now. We are trying to use as many bodies as we physically can during fall camp. I mean, this is one of those opportunities during fall camp where you really only get one chance to install stuff. And so if you do a good job, as you guys know, I mean, your playbook's much bigger than your game plan. And so, but if we can install all these things appropriately now, it gives us access to them all year, and hopefully players retain some things. And so, Coach Crutchley's done an outstanding job of, getting Zach Mathis to work at Z and at X. Tyler Terhark is doing a great job working at the inside receiver and outside receiver spot. Raja, as Raja Nelson, we've come up with, some unique things we've done offensively with him, trying to find creative ways to get him the football. And Braylon Henderson's done a really good job. We're as deep as we've ever been in that room, probably. And that's exciting, but at the same time, we got to find ways to get them all the football, and we got to continue to improve in that aspect of our offense, and continue to throw the ball and be effective. Cam did a great job last year of being efficient. He completed about 65% of his throws, and did a great job of limiting turnovers. We got to continue to do that and get the ball to our playmakers in space.
I know we also got NDSU Media Day later. You'll be speaking at that. So there's one last question for you. I'll let you save the voice for later. But SEMO game added. I know it's going to be a little ways down the road, but that was news earlier in the week to add a team that's been in the playoffs, been champion of the OVC. What does that do for your schedule a couple of years out?
Well, I mean, you said it right there, Andy. I mean, bringing in a very good football team that's won the Ohio Valley. We actually got to see them a little bit in some crossover film a year ago. They played at Montana early in the playoffs. I think the game right before we played Montana. So very talented group. I know their defensive coordinator for years now, Ricky Kuhn. I've met their head coach. I got a ton of respect for what they've done. I know they have a great rivalry with Southern Illinois in our league, and so we do get a chance to see them yearly. But that's. You're always trying to work out a couple, 2-3 years in the scheduling process. And I think, our administration does a great job of trying to find competitive, games for us, new names. I think sometimes our fan base likes to see somebody new in the Dome. And this year you're going to see a couple different teams. And it sounds like in 2025 you'll see somebody new as well.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate the time. Looking forward to Media Day later today.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for everything you do. Take care.
Thank you, Coach. That is head coach Matt Entz joining us on the Epic Companies hotline, updating us on fall camp for the Bison. Good stuff right there from Coach Entz. A comprehensive update as NDSU continues to roll towards opening kickoff. A lot of good things right there. And, offensively, you hear him speaking about the depth of the wide receiver room. There are some weapons in that position group. We have talked about it, Andy, and it'll be interesting to see how Coach Roll and the rest of the offensive staff utilizes them heading into the season.
I'd love to be Coach Roll, and I'd hate to be Coach Roll, because you got to find a way to get these guys the ball, but you have also, plenty of talent and plenty of weapons, too. And not every one of those receivers, that's just the nature of the beast, unless there's a whole host of injuries. Not all those receivers are going to get on the field. You got too many of them when we mention it for them all to get on there and have an impact. So when you get a chance, if you get a chance to get in there for a game, even a couple of snaps, you got to take advantage of it and try and pop on film and be that guy that stands out a little bit. So that's going to be the challenge for him.
Definitely a lot of depth there. Heard about a lot of depth on the D-line. That was one of the silver linings with Eli Mostert going down. Some of those young guys like Heisman, Dutton Heffer, they played a lot of snaps, and they were very productive at that. Very, very productive. So good stuff there. Coach Entz, kind enough to give us a few moments of his time this afternoon as the Bison continue in fall camp. It is also media day for NDSU, so we will be out at the facility later on. We will have the press conference. Coach Entz will take the podium in just about an hour, actually, at 1:30, and we will have that for you here on Bison 1660. So stick around after the show to hear Coach, his first full-on press conference of fall camp, meeting with the media, and then we'll be speaking with a number of players later on, and you'll hear those conversations as we move throughout the month and approach September 2nd kickoff. Speaking of that kickoff, we will have U.S. Bank Stadium GM John Drum. He will join us in just about 10 minutes. He's going to take us through all the ins and outs of U.S. Bank Stadium and what that event is going to be like for the Bison, playing in the first ever college football game in U.S. Bank Stadium history. That is going to be awesome. We'll have that for you in a little bit. Also, don't forget, we're giving away another 3 pair of tickets to the Def Leppard and Motley Crue concert tonight at the Fargo Dome. If you want to get in on that, text the keyword ROCK, R-O-C-K, to our text line and have a chance to win. We'll give them out at the end of the show. We've got a break, 12:22 Central Time here on The Insiders. More to come when we come back.
Where the Bison roam. Bison 1660.
Hey, it's Kyle Emanuel, former defensive end for the Bison. I have always tried to surround myself with people I trust and who want me to succeed. It's been my life motto, and this is so true when you are choosing your insurance game plan, which is why I have the good neighbors of Ryan Kill State Farm on my team. Ryan made finding the right insurance plan so simple. I told him my priorities, and he gave me clear options so I can make an educated decision without pressure or a hidden agenda. There are so many insurance agencies, but not many as great as Ryan Kill State Farm.
If you want a good neighbor on your sideline, reach out by going to RyanKillInsurance.com.
So most companies claim they have good people, good product, good customer service, but the question is how often. We go the extra mile to take care of our dealers and our growers, and more importantly, their families and their customers.
Proseed tries to bring a family-like experience. Farmers, we want to understand what their challenges are. We also want to bring products to them that help them overcome those challenges so that they can be as successful as possible.
Need seed? Think Proseed. Proseed.net. Great seed at a reasonable price.
Your vehicle is likely one of your biggest assets and certainly your ultimate connection to freedom, so it needs to be kept in tip-top shape. And Jiffy Lube of Fargo will make it happen. With no appointment needed, just drive into any of the 3 convenient Fargo locations for their signature service oil change, which includes a check of all your vehicle's vital fluids and an inspection of other preventative maintenance items to ensure you're ready to hit the road. For over 40 years, locally owned Jiffy Lube of Fargo has been the place that Fargo Moorhead has counted on to keep them on the road. Have you been thinking about the new Paragon home being built in Mapleton, North Dakota right now? Paragon Homes is passionate about building quality homes with transparent pricing that are fresh and different. Paragon Homes' new modern farmhouse will delight you with the awesome selections by a very talented interior designer. This home has 9-foot ceilings in the basement. Plus, it's a 5-bed, 3-bath home with room to entertain. Contact Paragon Homes to find out more about this delightful family home in Mapleton at ParagonHomesFM.com.
Attention, attention! Are you an electrical journeyman or apprentice? Then we want you. JDP Electric is looking for journeymen and apprentices, and we're hiring immediately. JDP offers competitive pay, incentives, and a fun team to work with. If you're not happy where you're at, we'll make it worth your time to check out why you should join the JDP team. JDP is a family-owned and operated business that's been around this region for over 20 years. Apply online at jdpelectric.net. Start your new tomorrow today. Come be a part of the JDP difference. Another season of Bison football is upon us, Bison Nation, and you can count down to kickoff of Week 1 versus Eastern Washington with us on our website, Bison1660.com, courtesy of the Bud Light Countdown Clock. The Bison are looking to get back on top of the Missouri Valley Football Conference and be crowned champions of the FCS for their 10th time in school history. And nothing goes better with Bison football than a nice cold Bud Light. Join us in getting ready for the 2023 season of Bison football with Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Bison.
Here's your Red River Valley weather update. on Bison 1660.
Mostly sunny skies and a high in the low 80s today. A 30% chance of some thunderstorms after 2 p.m. Clear skies tonight with a low in the upper 50s. Back to the 80s and sunny on Saturday. Are you using the weekend to tackle home renovation projects? Check another project off your list as we head into fall with Minn Kota Windows. Their sleek designs and energy-efficient windows are sure to breathe new life into your living spaces. Midwest built, Midwest tough. Guaranteed for life.
Hail to Bison, right here, your home for NDSU sports. This is Bison 1660.
Feel Good Friday, rolling along here on the Insiders, 1226 Central. Coming at you from our First Western Bank and Trust Broadcast Center. This segment on the Insiders brought to you by Wimmer's Diamonds. For 103 years, they've watched you fall in love and stay in love, providing beautiful reminders to celebrate all your special moments. Wimmer's Diamonds, 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo. Sam Niederman, Andy Rickoff, and Micah Bindi here with you. We just heard from Bison head coach Matt Entz. He joined us there at the top of the hour. If you missed that conversation, it'll be podcasted up for you. Just check out our Bison 1660 Twitter page or Facebook. Go on the website, click on shows. We'll have it for you. All episodes of The Insiders archived on our Bison 1660 website. And all of our interviews and guests, you can check them out with our podcast page if you miss a conversation. Good stuff from Coach Entz. Andy is back in the saddle here. We are keeping tabs on Fargo Little League team, which is off to a great start right now. Got them right where we want them. They're in the Midwest Region Championship. They clawed their way out of the losers bracket, and now they are up 3-0 against South Dakota, bottom of the first. South Dakota threatening here. They got second and third, 2 out. But our Fargo Little League boys are currently in the front seat right now, up 3-0.
I don't know what the final score was, but I'm pretty sure they smoked Iowa yesterday. It was pretty lopsided early on, at least. 3 runs though. The pitcher for South Dakota a little rattled early on. The young tyke out there, but now Sioux Falls back up. They got a couple guys on. You can get that early response, but we'll see if they can escape without any damage after a couple guys getting on.
Yeah, an opening 4-pitch walk in the bottom of the first. South Dakota, the home team here. But now it was second and third, 0 outs, but back-to-back outs. That center fielder for Fargo has a cannon. He just saved a run by it could have been a sac fly. It was somewhat deep in the right center field gap, but he gunned her home and kept the runners at bay, still second and third. And, hey, we're looking for a strikeout here. 1 strike away, and then we're going to the top of the second.
The other thing that's important as well is this is the championship game. South Dakota's team has not lost yet. Here's a chopper foul. Fargo's had to fight through the losers side of the bracket. It's not double elimination here. This is for all the marbles.
Winner take all. So if you're South Dakota here, you're actually kind of mad about this because you did all the hard work.
You got a day of break. You got a day break though.
Day of rest is what they got.
Okay, so in exchange,
that was the win. That was the win that they got. They didn't have to play yesterday.
Their advantage. Okay, makes sense. You can't be doing too many games. That'll do it. Grounded to short.
Absolutely.
3 down. They strand 2 on the in scoring position. Fargo fired up. First baseman fired up. All the Fargo fans there. This is in Whitestown, Indiana as well. A little closer to my neck of the woods, just outside of Indianapolis. So the Fargo Little League team up 3-0 after 1 in the Midwest Region Championship. This game is to go to the Little League World Series.
Williamsport, baby.
That'd be quite the story, man. Quite the story if they can pull this off.
What was your greatest athletic accomplishment as like a youngster around their age? Anything that stands out to mind?
This is somewhat NDSU football related.
Oh.
New defensive coordinator Jason Petrino, who came over from Southern Illinois. He coached a guy, Jeremy Chin, at Southern Illinois, who is currently with the Carolina Panthers, former second-round draft pick, outstanding defensive back for the Panthers. He is from my same hometown. We were the same grade. We grew up playing youth football together. My greatest achievement, Andy, I kid you not, recovering the game-winning fumble off of Jeremy Chin in the 4th grade Super Bowl.
So you didn't knock it out? You just recovered the fumble?
It was a toss sweep.
Okay.
And he fumbled it. I was Johnny on the spot, just fell on it. We won the game.
That's all that needs to happen, baby. Right there, right spot, right time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you had caught it, you would have taken him down, too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Shed the block. I was ready. Real quick, yours.
Oh, probably something with soccer. We had a former teammate that went on to play in the MLS. So I'm attached to him at the hip. Teal Bunbury is the name.
Okay. Very nice. I thought you were going to say, like, penalty shootout, game-winning save, something like
Oh,
that.
yeah. I mean, there's dozens of those probably. So.
Yeah. It's too many to pick from.
Yeah. Unlike Micah Bindy's historic athletic career, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah, I always get the praise of hardest worker out there, scrappy. That was my basketball superlatives.
Yeah, I always got most improved, which is not that's not what you want to get. I remember one year I got like most improved blocker at football camp a couple years in a row, and I think the second time it happened, my dad said, "Yeah, that's not something we should be celebrating, son." But anyway, we digress. Let's go back to the Epic Companies hotline. Joining us now is the general manager of U.S. Bank Stadium, John Drum, will join us here. He is in charge of U.S. Bank Stadium, and that is where NDSU will kick off its season on September 2nd, 2:30 kick against Eastern Washington, the first ever college football game in the history of U.S. Bank Stadium. John, great to have you on the show. Thank you for taking some time. How are you?
Oh, good afternoon, and thank you for giving us a little bit of time. Obviously, incredibly excited to host our first ever college football game here at U.S. Bank Stadium.
Absolutely. Take us through that, John. A landmark moment and an incredible venue, one of the best stadiums in the country. What were the conversations like as you guys got this game on the books for NDSU and the idea to have a college football game at the Vikings venue that's going to be a tremendous event and a great draw?
Well, I think a lot of it had to do with all the great stories of when all the NDSU fans normally head south and drink some town dry somewhere in Texas. And so, hey, that sounds like something fun. Let's try to do that here in the Twin Cities. And certainly you guys have a huge alumni following and certainly alumni base here in the Twin Cities. So as we start to review opportunities for great events inside the stadium, it just started checking so many boxes of this is going to be a great opportunity for the university, for their student athletes, the coaches, the alumni, and the reason why the stadium was built is to host great events, football games, and so we couldn't be more excited that NDSU is the team along with Eastern Washington to really be the first ones to play a college football game inside U.S. Bank Stadium.
On that point, and John, thanks for joining us. Appreciate the time. First game in there, is this something that U.S. Bank Stadium, you and your crew think can be not a maybe annual thing, but maybe once every 2, 3, 4 years, having either NDSU or some other team there? Is this going to be the first and last college football game, or does that depend how it goes on September 2nd?
Well, we're always looking for opportunities, and hopefully this is the start of a tradition. And again, we have to look for these opportunities when schools have the ability to move a home game. And we know that the number of home games that a school has at their venue is very important to them. But again, when we have those opportunities and we have discussions, a lot of times, sometimes it doesn't work out from a scheduling standpoint or other things. But hopefully this is the first of many college games to come. But again, having a storied university and all the success that they've had on the field, coming down here to kind of christen it from college football is a win-win for everybody.
John Drum, GM of U.S. Bank Stadium, joining us here on the show. John, give us a little rundown. What can Bison fans expect in addition to the game itself in terms of the event, from tailgating to just having the venue there, the scenery around it? What's going to be that game day atmosphere once we get to September 2nd?
Well, you know that football is community, and bringing people together is what we do, and hosting great events inside the stadium. But it's more than just when the doors open up and the opportunity for people to get together before the games. We're going to have our outside plaza activated at 9:30 in the morning. Stadium doors open at 12:30. So a great opportunity for people to get there early, to make a day of it. Again, for everybody to really celebrate what's great about Bison football, and maybe people that haven't had an opportunity to travel up to Fargo and go to a game there, and now can see them maybe in closer proximity here in the Twin Cities. And so, we'll really carry it through the day. and really, celebrate the entire day and just be able to show maybe a lot of first-time visitors to the stadium truly what we can do here and how this building comes to life. It's an incredible venue. It's amazing that we've already hosted 7 seasons of Minnesota Vikings football, and here we are, starting off that 8th season, with a college game.
You mentioned the tailgating aspect of it there at the plaza at 9:30 a.m. Food, drinks, games, all fun, all morning until kickoff. No ticket purchase necessary to enjoy the tailgating festivities prior to the game. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep. As far as it's free and open to all to come out and enjoy that. Really meant to just be a pregame destination, and then obviously want everybody to come inside, and then we can show you, what we can do as far as our food and beverage selection, the wow factor of our building, and just the ability to watch the football in an amazing venue.
John, what goes into putting on an event and a show like this? Throughout your career, you've been with the Arizona Cardinals, State Farm Stadium there, which hosted last year's Super Bowl. You've been there for 2 prior Super Bowls, a Final Four, BCS National Championship games. What are the key ingredients to putting on an event like this? And as you've kind of learned it throughout your career, and you get to do another one that's a landmark here, with it being the first ever college football game at U.S. Bank?
Well, just like a good football coach, it's all about teamwork and surrounding yourself with great people that have a passion to make this building be the best it could be. Number one, obviously have to thank Todd and all the staff at NDSU Athletics that are really excited and supporting us in regards to bringing the game here. And their excitement and support as we pull it together. And then it really relies on, my great team that I have here that I don't need to motivate. We just talk about these great opportunities and then allow them to just create the event and make it impactful for everybody. For us, obviously we do football games on a regular basis, so there's certain muscle memory that we have with Vikings games that will apply to this. But at the same time, it's different because it is a college atmosphere, and we want to make sure that everybody has a great time. But again, I'm really fortunate that we have so many great people here at the stadium that really go out of their way to make this different. And again, it really comes down to the small details. And for those that have been to U.S. Bank Stadium or maybe have driven by, it is an amazing building. But it's the people that bring it to life and really give it its personality and its charm. And that's the reason why we consider it the best stadium in the NFL. And there's a lot of people that also back me up on that statement.
And John Drum here with us, GM of U.S. Bank Stadium. Get your tickets right now, usbankstadium.com, NDSU Eastern Washington, September 2nd, game number 1. You don't want to miss it. These destination games have been a little bit more frequent here for NDSU, and this is definitely one of them. If you're a Bison fan down in the Twin Cities area, come check it out. We want you there cheering on the Bison. On that note, John, obviously this is the Vikings home. You're going to see a lot of Vikings stuff whenever you're around there on the walls and everything like that, a lot of purple. Is there going to be any Bison stuff, or the end zone's going to say North Dakota State, anything like that might have a little bit of an NDSU flavor inside the stadium on game day?
Well, that's certainly part of it, and that's what kind of our creative team continues to look at, and we want to make sure that we capture this moment, and being in the middle of Viking season and what we're able to do with our field, but I think everybody it'll feel like a Bison home game when they're there, and certainly the seats are still going to be purple. I'm not able to change all of those out to a different color.
Can't color every single one of them
now. Well, it depends on how. Are you busy this weekend? Can you come back and help me? Yeah. But no, from that standpoint, it's going to have that flair, and again, working with the NDSU athletics department, their assistants, and looking for those opportunities to make it feel like a home game, even though we're just down to 94 aways.
We're talking about the Bison season opener at U.S. Bank Stadium with U.S. Bank Stadium GM John Drum. John, give us a little sense of what the NDSU football team experience is going to be like. They get to play in a pro venue. I mean, we were talking to some of the players yesterday on the show. They just lit up when they heard, when they're asked about what it's going to be like on this weekend to take the field at US Bank. From my understanding, the NDSU might have access to the Vikings locker room. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But kind of give us a sense of what the NDSU football team's perspective will be on game day as they get to play as the home team in this facility.
Well, we hope they're jacked up for it because we're excited about it. And, one of the things that we get to do on an annual basis here at US Bank Stadium is we host the Minnesota State High School Football Championships, both the semifinals and the finals. And, looking at the roster of NDSU this year, there could be some of the players that maybe have already played a game here in their in their high school careers. But to have them come in and obviously always keeping the student athletes in mind and their experience, and you're correct, they will get to use the Vikings locker room. And that's a very special honor and something that's very limited when you talk about an amazing experience for those student athletes, for the coaches, being able to walk out onto the field that so many players in the NFL use on a regular basis, and we know with the success of your program that they could be back again in the future when they turn pro. So hopefully it is a great moment for them, a great moment for their family members that get to attend, and again just furthering the mission of really what this venue is meant to be, and provide a great opportunity to host sporting events, to have people, really experience what, we have to offer in regards to hospitality, and just to do it on a grand scale. And so I think it's going to be a very, very special moment, and I'm glad to hear that the players are looking forward to it.
They're excited about it. We're excited about it. I know Bison Nation's excited to get down there as well. I have a question for you, kind of a dual question, both NDSU and Vikings. One, how cool is the Gallarhorn on a Sunday and that tradition that's been started here at US Bank Stadium and getting that going for the fans and getting the fans going before a Vikings game? And do you have anyone to maybe signal the Gallarhorn for even a Bison game? And if you don't, I'll raise my hand as a volunteer, John. I'll do it.
Do you have past experience? Is that the reason why you ask, or you just want to be first in line?
I want to be first in line. I played in high school band, so I know how to play an instrument. That might help. I don't know.
Did you get any awards when you were in the band?
Not a one. Not a chance.
No. Okay, so that's probably not going to help your cause. But the Gallarhorn obviously is the great way to kick off a Vikings game, and for Vikings fans, the select company of past players or representatives, somebody that really embodies Minnesota, that gets the opportunity to start off a Vikings game. So it is a very special honor. And so from that standpoint, it's a great tradition in this building, and really what makes the home field advantage, inside the stadium on Vikings game day, really that special. And we hear it a lot. The teams don't like come playing here. I mean, it is a loud building, and there's a lot of passion for the purple.
Yes, indeed. John, it'll be awesome. It's going to be my first time personally at the venue, and for Bison Nation, it's going to be a pretty darn cool event coming up Saturday, September 2nd. Bison season opener against Eastern Washington at US Bank Stadium. Tickets are as low as $35 right now. You can get them on Ticketmaster. John, we appreciate you taking the time to give us some inside details about the event. We'll send you Andy's resume. That way he can get you on the wait list for the Gallarhorn here soon, and looking forward to speaking with you again. Thank you very much.
But we've got lots of other great opportunities for Andy if the whole Gallarhorn thing doesn't work out. So, there's some concession stand work that we would have for him, or maybe a post-event cleanup. But we'll wait and see how that all works out. So
I can lead the skull chant, too, if needed, John. I can.
Outstanding.
Awesome. John, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All the best. Have a great weekend, and look forward to seeing you down here in about 3 weeks.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's John Drum, the GM of US Bank Stadium, kind enough to join us here on the Epic Companies hotline. All right, man. You might have a shot here at some point.
It wasn't a firm no. It sounded like it's probably not going to happen. It wasn't a firm no. Might be able to, chorus my way into this. I never thought my high school band playing trip would come up twice in a week. So.
I think he was just letting you down easy, kind of like a breakup. Like, kind of sugarcoating it. Not yes, not no, but most likely no.
Yeah.
Right, trying to give you the hint maybe.
Yeah.
Probably. You are a Vikings fan, though, so I would say that is a big thing that you need to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so.
Well, good stuff there.
I can wear a Ben Ellefson jersey. Vikings and Bison. It works for both. I think that's a good compromise.
Split it in half. Half
should.
Vikings, half Bison. You
got
can
to
do
one of those.
Someone's got to have the skill to do that. Can you sew?
No. My
Okay.
mom can. We can talk to the fine folks over at Shields. I'm sure they've got something like that for us.
Yeah. A lot of...
We're just confusing Sam at this point.
Yeah, I'm still getting up to speed.
Yep, I got you.
A lot of
It's
gear
okay.
at Shields, though.
Yeah, tons of it.
I was blown away.
Vikings
the first
and
time.
Bison. So they got to be able to put something together.
Yeah. No, it's going to be awesome, though, to have. I mean, I'm personally pumped. Yeah. I don't even know what broadcast booth we're going to be in. Rumor has it could be PA's booth. Is that not
the home
thing?
booth? I would think that is probably where you'll get set up. So I think that's in itself for you and for myself to be around there a little bit. It's pretty awesome.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's going to be a pretty cool day. So if you're still interested, tickets are on sale. The Bison opening up the season at U.S. Bank Stadium, taking on Eastern Washington. 2:30 kick on September 2nd, the first ever college football game played at U.S. Bank. So that's going to be quite the way to ring in this season. We're going to step aside, take one more break, and then we'll be wrapping up the show. Feel good news of the week. That's how we do it on a Friday here on the Insiders. End of the week with some positivity and getting some final thoughts just ahead of NDSU Media Day. Coach Entz press conference will be broadcast live following the show at 1:30, so stay tuned for that. Plus, we'll also have our ticket giveaway to Def Leppard and Motley Crue. We will have that for you on the other side of this break.
You're listening to The Insiders on your home for NDSU sports. Bison 1660.
Cullen Insulation is dedicated to quality from start to finish, so you have nothing to worry about all year long when it comes to your residential or commercial project. As your local Owens Corning certified energy expert, Cullen Insulation will help make your home quiet, comfortable, and energy smart. Simple home insulation solutions that improve the way you live every day. Cullen Insulation, online at culleninsulation.com. That's culleninsulation.com.
There's a culture of greatness surrounding North Dakota State Bison athletics, in the classroom and on game day. First Western Bank and Trust is a proud supporter of that heritage. And just like the Thundering Herd, we have our own storied history. First Western began right here in North Dakota with the vision of becoming the premier bank and financial services provider in every community we serve. Achieving excellence. That's First Western and NDSU athletics.
First Western Bank and Trust and the Bison. You can bank on us.
Don't miss Jacuzzi Hot Tubs of Fargo flash sale going on now through August 14th. It's time to relax and enjoy a rebate. You'll receive a $500 instant rebate plus smart tub upgrade for only $99. If you've been thinking about getting a hot tub, now is the time during their flash sale going on until August 14th at Jacuzzi Hot Tubs of Fargo. Your wellness journey begins with a hot tub. Bring the power of hydrotherapy to your backyard oasis. Stop by today and experience the jacuzzi difference or online at jacuzzihottubsoffargo.com.
Hi, Jeff from a Cutting Edge Gallery of Jewelry. It is the diamond days of summer. So what does that mean for you folks? Well, come on over to a Cutting Edge where we have our entire natural diamond inventory on sale. You will save 25% of every single stone we have. Never before have we been able to offer such a great savings. So come on over to a Cutting Edge Gallery of Jewelry, 4507 33rd Avenue South, Fargo.
CNH Industrial in Fargo is a proud sponsor of the Hire Job Fair, August 15th at the Delta Hotels by Marriott. Stop by the CNH booth from 1 to 4 to apply. CNH Industrial has current openings for assembly, welders, finish painters, CNC operators, and mechanics. If you're ready to take your career to the next level making world-class equipment and technology for agriculture and construction, you don't want to miss this opportunity. Can't make it to Hired? Visit cnhfargojobs.com for upcoming hiring events.
Hanson Runsvold Funeral Home proudly supports the Bison and appreciates the commitment each student makes to its success. Whether in the arts or other campus activities, these students are our country's future and deserving of our support. Hanson Runsvold is dedicated to helping families look to the future with hope and remember what we do today shapes our memories for tomorrow. Add the Bison experience and live life to the fullest. Hanson Runsvold Funeral Home, an experienced and caring staff with a distinct attention to detail.
When it comes to a diamond, we let you choose. Hi, I'm Aaron at Wimmers Diamonds. From natural to lab-grown diamonds, we carry all the options our industry has to offer. Our team of experts is here to help you pick the perfect shape, size, color, and cut of diamond, along with a perfect ring mounting for your engagement or anniversary. We also offer the area's largest selection of finished jewelry. When you're ready to give the gift of sparkle, stop by and see us at Wimmers Diamonds, 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo.
33 years and counting. CI Sport, #1 for corporate, resort, collegiate, and high school apparel. We've partnered with college bookstores, high schools, and retailers to bring you high-quality game day apparel. Whether for work or play, every day is game day at CI Sport. With brands you love like Nike, Ozio, Under Armour, and the CI Sport brand. With competitive pricing and fast turnaround times, we help you play harder, work harder, and cheer harder in style. CI Sport, 2121 43rd Street in Fargo and CISport.com.
Attention, attention! Are you a plumbing journeyman or apprentice? We want you! The region's fastest growing heating, cooling, and plumbing contractor, Valley Service Mechanical, is looking for journeymen and apprentices, and we're hiring immediately. We offer competitive pay, incentives, and a fun team to work with. If you're not happy where you're at, we'll make it worth your time to check out why you should join the Valley Service Mechanical team. It's easy to apply online today at valleyservice.net. Just click the red banner. That's valleyservice.net.
This is the Insiders on Bison 1660. It's been a long week and we gotta end it on a positive note. So to get you feeling good for the weekend, presented by your good neighbor Ryan Kill of State Farm. This is the Feel Good News of the Week.
Yes, indeed. Feel good news of the week as we wrap up the show here on a Friday.
And the week.
Yeah. The first 5 days for yours truly. Appreciate you, man. It's been fun.
What went by quicker for a show? First week.
First show.
First
show was a blur.
Yeah, he didn't remember anything.
It was a blur, yeah. We were just going. But here we are. Feel good news of the week. What you got, man?
Well, let's go back to baseball for this. It's not always sports related, but there was a really good story about, somewhat professional baseball. Have you guys heard of the Savannah Bananas?
Oh, yeah.
We know about the Savannah Bananas?
Absolutely.
Big on TikTok. Crazy rules, really fun, bringing some entertainment value to the sport of baseball as well. Well, there was a 10-year-old kid from Boston. His name is Mark Lane, but he prefers the nickname that's been given to him of Swaggy. So he'll now be referred to as Swaggy during the Feel Good News. There's a rare neurological condition. He's had up to 300 seizures in a day during some days of his life. Rare neurological condition. Well, we all know about Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish hooked up Swaggy with a chance, who's from Boston, to see one of his favorite teams, and that would be the Savannah Bananas in Georgia, famous on TikTok. He's a big fan. They held a ceremony last week where they signed him to a contract. He was a professional ball player for a day, got to hang out with the players, gave him his own locker. He's a big part of all the on-field stuff as well, and of course got a chance to be on the field when they were playing for a little bit. That's pretty awesome. The Savannah Bananas do a lot of cool things. This is probably the coolest one they have done, helping Swaggy live out a dream of being a professional baseball player for a day.
That is amazing. Awesome to hear. Well done by the Savannah Bananas. Well done. And they're incredible. I've not seen a game. They did come to Indy while I was back at home. They played at the AAA team stadium on their little road show, which I didn't realize that they did that. Like they do like a little Harlem Globetrotters tour. But good on them for doing that. That's pretty cool to hear.
If you haven't seen it, just look up Savannah Bananas. They have a lot of cool different rules. Like if fans catch a ball in the 9th inning, it's an out.
Banana ball,
which is great too. So, but this is the coolest thing they've done. Hooking Swaggy up with the ability, and all these Make-A-Wish things are pretty cool. I'm sure they probably never thought this would reach to this level, but they've kind of become big talking point for the sport of baseball, and now they got some fans and a 10-year-old there from Boston. So that's pretty awesome. Our Feel Good News of the Week brought to you each and every week by the good neighbors at Ryan Kill State Farm Insurance in Fargo and West Fargo, covering the Fargo area and West Fargo as well with great insurance for all your insurance needs. Ryan Kill State Farm, the good neighbors, bringing you our Feel Good News of the Week.
Well done. And before we give away our last 3 Def Leppard Motley Crue tickets, show is tonight inside the Fargo Dome. So hang on just 1 second. I want to remind you that this hour of the Insiders has been presented by Wimmer's Diamonds, a local family-owned jeweler serving and believing in this community for over 100 years. Stop in and see them at their new showroom, 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo. All right, here we go. Last batch of Def Leppard Motley Crue tickets. If you texted in the keyword rock to our text line, you have a shot to win right here.
Mhm.
Andy's got the winner. He will do the honors. Here we go.
Before we get to that, just to build suspense. I like building suspense.
I like where
Our
this is
first
going.
stop on the Bison 1660 Road Tour was yesterday at the Bridges. We got more coming up in the next couple of weeks. You can find all the tour stops on our website, bison1660.com. Brought to you exclusively by the Bridges. You can tour the Bridges online at bridgesnd.com and also be on the lookout for them. They're going to be at tailgating all football season long, handing out some free swag and some different things as well in the tailgating lot. So look for the Bridges and all of our CI Sport apparel, including the see-through fanny packs. Big fan of those. You can use them to get into the Fargo Dome and bring all your goodies there with you for NDSU football games this season. And also the Motley Crue and Def Leppard tickets, the World Tour coming back to the Fargo Dome. Want to let people know they do still have some seats available, including a couple on the floor that are still available for tonight, and those are available for you online at the Fargo Dome's website, so go there. You can find some more tickets, too, if you want to get there. Tonight, 5:45, they start. Def Leppard, Motley Crue, the World Tour coming here to Fargo. But with that, let's get a little drum roll. Last one, build suspense. The winner of the last pair of tickets, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Paul Sanford. Congratulations, Paul.
Paul, you did it.
You did it at the buzzer. The walk-off shot. You get 3 tickets for Paul Sanford to Motley Crue and Def Leppard to enjoy the World Tour. There you go.
Congratulations, Paul. 11th
Well
hour.
done. Mm-hmm.
Pulling it off. That's going to be a good show tonight.
Weekend plans just got a whole lot better for the Sanford clan.
Awesome. Great stuff, boys. Great first week. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you listening wherever you might be. We will be back on Monday. Fall camp continues. We are that much closer to kickoff. NDSU football is just around the corner.
1:30, Coach Entz press conference here on Bison 1660. We got you covered.
Stick with us. Hear from Coach. He'll be at the podium in just about half an hour. That'll do it for us. For Micah and Andy, I'm Sam. We'll catch you guys next time.
Hey, it's Kyle Emanuel, former defensive end for the Bison. I've spent most of my life being defensive-minded, and buying insurance is no different. I know what I want to protect and need an insurance agent who makes my priorities his priorities, which is why the good neighbors at Ryan Kill State Farm is a perfect fit. Ryan asked my priorities and gave me a variety of options to fit my needs, and then I could make a fully educated decision and feel great with the insurance coverage I had. No pressure, no hidden agenda, just great insurance coverage and clear pricing.
If you want a good neighbor on your sideline, reach out by going to RyanKillInsurance.com.
Brain health is our priority. Whether it's post-concussion, post-COVID, or mental health, your brain health is the most important part of who you are. At Healing with Hyperbarics, we are using 100% oxygen to treat your brain the natural way. We use Right Eye, a dynamic vision test to look at the brain-eye communication. Give us a call and book an appointment for a free Right Eye test in our clinic through the end of June. We are located off of 45th Street in Fargo in the Crown Jewels Plaza. Learn more at our website, healingwithhyperbarics.com.
At Cardinal IG, they don't just create innovative glass solutions, they foster a culture of collaboration and teamwork. Their employees bring a wealth of experience and expertise to every